of, I think she was talking about like what is love, what the definition of love was, and I was like, that is so beautiful. Like, you guys really inspired each other. Like, you know, you were inspired by her, but she was also inspired by the man you are, excuse me, you know, and how you just, you know, definitely have no limits to what you believe that you can and will achieve. So, you know, I just think that's a beautiful thing, and just, you know, just keep posting and just keep keeping her memory alive, because I mean, that's an inspiration, you know, to others as well, you know, as far as just the legacy that you guys created together and that you continue to create, you know, in her name. So
no doubt.
I love it. So you use hip hop often to drive the point of your mission home. Like you know, such as Jay-Z's quote, like you say, we all lose when we ain't got the tools. And it seems like you are dedicated to making sure that us as a people have the tools to succeed. So I want to ask you the question that I ask every guest on our show, from every hip hop artist, you know, to everyone that we have as a guest. So what made you fall in love with hip hop? Because I was there in a lot of them conversations. I was there.
What made me fall in love with hip hop? Hip hop is like a surrogate parent, you know? We were born into it, right? It raised us. And I think we all, if you think, you know, hip hop really started to formalize in the 79, you know, and start to really become more prominent in the mid 80s, when we were basically like 10, you know? And so it was, for me, the soundtrack of my life. You know, I remember getting my first boombox, which was a little purple boombox. It was purple because of Prince. And I, you know, in Minnesota, I had one tape and I broke it. I'm sure I did. It was a white tape. It was LL Cool J, the radio album. And I used to just be around with this purple boombox, walking all throughout Minneapolis. That was my soundtrack, right? And so if you think about how interesting that is, you know, like that we literally were moving through day to day, going on walks with a boombox. Because as a people, we got this rhythm in our DNA that we don't really understand fully, that comes from our tribal ancestry. And the beat is just like something that just makes you do what you do, but it's in a more of a modern context. So it's just, I think we was born into it, right? Like it became the soundtrack of our lives, but it's really connected to who we are ancestrally. And, you know, you hear in tribal rhythms just on urban block.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's so funny because, look, I'm going to tell you, it's like, you know, Minnesota had their own, I don't know, maybe I can only speak for me, but I'm going to tell you, it's like all the people that I was hanging with, they was on the West Coast thing. But for some reason, in that class, being introduced to, you know, the love for Biggie, Wu-Tang, all of that, I'm serious, used to come from when y'all would talk about that. I didn't really know about none of that because none of my people, they was like Tupac all day, you know, it was serious. I'm like, I mean, damn, can I like me? I mean, is it a problem? You know, you know, but it was serious back then. People don't realize how really serious it really was, but I mean, it was just a cool time. It was a cool atmosphere, and I really can just say that I really learned a lot from just listening. You know, I didn't say much, as you can see, but I just sit back and just listen to y'all, and you know, definitely I used to just soak it all in.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really interesting you bring that up, because I remember being in 9th grade, and I, you know, for a lot of people it was different. You know, I had my shirt tucked in and a backpack on both shoulders, and I had a CD at the time. It was Dell, the Funky Homo Sapien.
Okay.
It was like, dude, this is weird, right? But for me, I always looked at like that music like jazz music, the early formulation of jazz when bebop and, you know, some of the more sophisticated, I mean, it was all sophisticated, but I always, you know, I'm a big fan of the late 50s, mid 60s kind of era of jazz, but like Thelonious Monk and, you know, so they were kind of off minor, right? They weren't like the pop. A lot of West Coast music was sample heavy, so it was easy listening, right? Like it was just essentially you was listening to rhythms from our parents' era, and then they just rapped over it, you know?
Right, basically.
Whereas a lot of the East Coast stuff was like a more complex wine, right? Like your palate has to kind of evolve a bit, and so you hearing a beat, and it's just like they're just playing horns and it's just some drums, like that doesn't seem like right. But until you evolve, and that was what was so interesting about that group of people. We were all kind of searching for more, right? And that music was definitely like it was stretching us. Because I don't know, that was really fun. I remember having so many arguments with so many people, and I remember the day catching the bus downtown to the record store. It was the day. It was a day that Biggie dropped, and also J. Rue the Damager. This was '94.
Must have been '94. Yeah.
All '94. And I remember I was going down to buy Biggie. I was going to buy the and I was on the bus, and one of the OGs and I were talking, and we were talking about, I didn't know J. Rue had dropped. And so he was like, man, J. Rue, wow, dude, you know how everybody's talking like, God, you know what I'm saying? Now, Cypher God, that joint is... I was like, all right. And I ended up buying J. Rue the Damage, and I remember getting back to school. They were like, how you didn't buy Biggie? And I'll never forget what I like. It was like listening to a cinematic opera or something, listening to The Godfather, J. Rue the Damager's album, The Sun Rises in the East. And I bought that over Biggie, but at that time, that oh my gosh. But those were those kind of decisions we were making as kids that seemed so trivial, but were so prominent. Important.
Yes, definitely. And, you know, I mean, I was just watching the Wu-Tang documentary with my husband the other day, and they were just talking about how, you know, people, even like when, you know, people just didn't understand them at first, like, you know, they had a certain sound and people was like, wow. But once they understood it, it was like, dang, you know, like, this is dope. You know, this is like something that we've never heard before. Yeah. So, you know, I just think like people like them were like pretty groundbreaking, and, you know, it was just like really dope. And like with like you said, the funky Homo sapiens, right?
Yeah, the funky Homo sapien. He was a part of the, you know, the whole crew with the Souls of Mischief and the hieroglyphics. You know, they had a few other like solo artists. It's been so long, but yeah, they were from LA though, right? They were Issa Rae before Issa Rae. In the sense that they had, you know, they were just like immersed in LA, but they had a very unique, different sound.
Right.
That was Del at that time was the Method Man of that crew, you know. So okay.
And they were talking about a lot of stuff, you know, the Asiatic, and, you know what I'm saying? Back then, I didn't know what they was talking about. I ain't gonna lie. I didn't know what they was talking about. I was not on that. I ain't gonna lie. But with wisdom and, you know, I ain't gonna lie. My husband put me onto a whole lot of that, you know, and I was just like, oh, that's what they were saying, you know? So I was like, okay, it kind of made it all come together, because I remember hearing it, but, you know, I didn't really get it and come full circle at that time. But it's just dope. You know, life just seems like sometimes it comes full circle. Wisdom comes later, and hindsight is 20/20, and it just makes you just look back at life and just be like, wow, this is why this happened. This is why this happened. And, you know, that's just how life goes. So I'm just, you know, honored to have such a cultural community and upbringing, because, you know, again, I'm just so happy what you're doing for the city, because we had mentors, you know, I mean, like Peyton, you know, I see he's still, you know, doing a whole lot of stuff. He was our artist mentor who came into the classroom to mentor us, and also, you know, brought us into his organization, which is still doing awesome things. I see Juxtaposition Arts. Okay. And it was just dope, you know, just to have let me tell you something. He was actually like really, I thought about that a lot. Like, when me and my husband, we also had like a kids hip hop art program that we did down here in Augusta, Georgia. And I was just thinking that if somebody, you know, like that made an impact on our lives, you know, what can we do in other youth's lives? So it's just all about passing the baton and, you know, really making a difference. And I'm just, you know, just glad to be part of that nucleus.
We're still connected today. I mean, we just finished the side gussets for the Get Down coffee bags that are going to be all over the place. And I wanted, for me, everything has to have some kind of story or some kind of authentic touch. And so I wanted those bags to be like any other coffee bag that ever existed, and that they are works of art. And so I had Peyton paint paintings that would go on each side. And so he painted freestyle graffiti. One says get, the other says down. And then we scanned it, and so that's what's going to be on the bag. So you will go into a Target or anywhere you see the Get Down Coffee Company, they'll have actual graffiti as work on the sides of those bags. So he just did that, and we're very connected. And this is what this is all about. Like, literally, you know how it's the gift that keeps on giving. Peyton was my first one-to-one. 30 years later, we're still connected and working together, and I'm benefiting him still, and he's still. I'm looking around now. I got 1, 2, 3 works that Peyton did just in the spot right now, and so that's astounding.
Awesome. That's so cool. Well, you know, we have a lot of people listening all over the world, worldwide, and we just want you to tell us, where can we find everything Black Excellence, HWMR, Camdentown? Where can we find out about all of these things?
You know, probably the easiest place to find it is HoustonWhite.co. We also CamdentownMinneapolis.com, and on Instagram, HWMR.USA.
Most definitely. Yes. Will y'all hear that? Definitely go and check that out. You will not be disappointed. So any shout outs before we go ahead and wrap it up?
Man, shout out to you for what you're doing. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's an honor. It's always dope to just reconnect with folks that you've encountered on your journey, right? And to check in and see where we are. And the cool thing is that there is this through line that undergirds all of our lived experience, and that is the connection to culture. It will never go away. It'll never recede, you know, as we mature. We just have a deeper appreciation, deeper affinity for it. So shout out to you for keeping it alive and telling these stories. It's super dope, so I appreciate it. And, you know, the whole community that raised us, that raised me, it just further laments this idea that it takes a village. And it keeps me grounded in the fact that this is really the basis of human connection and how and why it always will be important.
Awesome. Well, that's so dope. Thank you so much for being a part of our experience today. And, you know, definitely anytime that, you know, you want to come back on, let us know anything that you have going on. Again, look, I'm going to hold you up to that. When we come up to Minneapolis, we're going on a tour.
Yeah, we can tour Camdentown.
Tour Camdentown, yes. So, you know, we want to have like a live broadcast from Minneapolis. That's going to be so dope to have. So, definitely want to stay reconnected to that, and just congratulations on all your wonderful accomplishments. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Well, again, keep it locked, y'all. It's the Boom Bap Hour Uncut. Keep it locked.